What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, man. It's currently Championship Sunday for the two conferences in the NFL. By the end of the day today, we will officially know who's playing in the 2024 Super Bowl for the NFL, man. It is a fun, exciting weekend. We probably got the best four teams at the current time of this recording of this season. Obviously, there's a lot of fun storylines. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, the Lions, who haven't been able to win a road playoff game in 68 years, I believe is what I saw from Adam Schefter this morning. Shout out to all the guys I follow on Twitter for the cool stats. But yeah, man, 68 years they haven't been able to win one. You've got the up-and-coming dynasty with the Chiefs, and you've got the Niners who consistently find ways to be a good team. But the quarterback position has always been rocky. Now they think they have the guy in Brock Purdy, but that's a storyline in itself for the Niners. Mr. Irrelevant coming to be Mr. Relevant. And so I think the NFL, obviously, I know the whole joke about being scripted and you know, but this was probably the best four teams the NFL could have wanted in the top four, man, in the last four. And I think that these four teams are playing their best ball. So today, we're going to dive into each matchup, the 3 o'clock game being first and the 6 o'clock game, 6:30 game being last. So yeah, let's dive straight into it, man. All right, guys. So the 3 o'clock game, Chiefs, Ravens. It's at Baltimore. So this is the second time we will see Patrick Mahomes in a away playoff game. Obviously did well in Buffalo. And obviously got the win. But this one feels a little bit different. Now, it's always hard to be against Patrick Mahomes. He's just that kind of player. He's earned the right to be that kind of player where doesn't matter where you're tipping the ball off at or kicking the ball off at in this case, where they're playing, who they're playing. If you have that guy, you have a chance. Obviously, the receiving core for them has been lackluster this year, but they've been able to stay alive with key drives with him and Kelsey, obviously, and the defense is a top 5 defense in the league this year. Now, on the reverse side of that, the Ravens probably have the best defense in the NFL when healthy. I do know they're struggling with some injuries right now, but I think they are fully healthy going into this game. They got some key guys back. I believe Marlon Humphrey is playing for them. So they seem to be fully healthy. But the offense for the Ravens has looked a lot better than the Chiefs' offense has looked this year. Obviously, we know the story of battling with drops. But as soon as the playoffs hit, the Chiefs have looked like a completely different offensive team. Kadarius Toney is still out with a right toe. I don't even know. I feel like I read right toe injury. So don't kill me in the comments if you actually know. Tell me what it is. But he's out, and I believe that they don't want him to play. Like he just seems to have had multiple things going on to where he's just cost them games. And so even if he was healthy, I don't think he'd play. He probably will not be in a Chiefs uniform next year just because of the amount of things he's caused for this season, the drops, the offsides, everything just felt like everything he did wrong felt like it multiplied by 5. And so he's not playing, but obviously, like I said, the offense has looked a lot better. Rashee Rice has really entered the conversation of like, oh, okay, we thought this guy had potential, and he's starting to kind of show some potential. They have got their running game going with Isaiah Pacheco. Obviously, he's going to be a hard runner. We all have seen the memes and the jokes about him. But I think this game comes down to the quarterbacks. Who is going to be the best quarterback tonight? And typically, Patrick Mahomes wins those matchups. He is the best quarterback. It's plain and simple. Even his off games are some guys' best games. But I'm going to do it. I want to see the Ravens in the Super Bowl, so I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It'll probably be a high-scoring game. I'm hoping for a high-scoring game. I know you all are. I'm going to say 27-31. The Ravens get a win. I think that feels right. Playoff football is not going to be like a huge shootout game, especially with these two defenses. Like, the defenses are legit for both of these teams, and if Kansas City can get the receiver position right next year going into that season, and they can keep the key pieces of that Kansas City defense around, Obviously, with Patrick Mahomes, they're going to be right back in it next year. But I think Patrick Mahomes loses this game, not because of his play, but just because of how well the Ravens have played all season. They've been rolling. They've been a unit. They've been a buzzsaw. Whatever term you want to throw on them about being a good football team, that has been them. So I have the Ravens moving on in a close game. But I would not be surprised. I don't think anybody would be surprised if Patrick Mahomes waltzes in to the Baltimore Ravens Stadium and plays villain and just takes the heart out of every fan. That's a Baltimore fan there. So I can see it going either ways, but for personal reasons, I just want to see Lamar go get one. So we're going to pick the Ravens. Moving on to the 6:30 game, probably the game that is most, well, maybe not most exciting, but has the cooler storylines. Like, I think you guys would agree with that, right? Like, I think Ravens-Chiefs is going to be the better game because of the quarterback and the talent on the field. I think the Lions and Niners is going to be the better storyline game, right? Like, if the Niners win, then we've got this whole thing about Mr. Irrelevant turning into Mr. Relevant and having the chance to probably do something that no one has ever done. Obviously, somebody, I'm sure, obviously we've had undrafted guys go on to win Super Bowls, different things like that, but in the position that he's in, it feels as if he'd be the only guy, right? We got the Lions, who haven't won a road playoff game in 68 years. Obviously, I love the way Dan Campbell has ran this team. He's a very football-eccentric guy. Like, everything he does feels like football. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a tough, hard-nosed guy, and that's the way his players play. We all have heard the stories. We've all seen analysts talk about how good the Lions are and how they play like their coach speaks and how he played when he played football for the Lions. And so it's going to be a good game. I think that the offenses for both teams are very good. I think if I had to pick a better offense, part of me would go with the Lions just because of the trigger man, the quarterback. Brock Purdy to me isn't a bad quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think that there are two camps for him. One is like, oh, he's a top 10 guy. The other is, oh, he stinks. I'm in the middle. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's got a really good team, but I don't think one cancels out the other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think just because he has a good team, he's a mid quarterback, but I don't think, you see what I'm saying? I don't think they cancel each other out. And so, do I think the Niners probably win this game just because of their defense? Yes. But man, it sure does feel like the Lions are hot. It sure does feel like the Lions can do pretty much anything right now that's set in front of them. The coach and the coaching staff have probably done a really good job. We'll find out. But have probably done a really good job of keeping their guys focused and having full energy every time they step out to practice and getting ready for this team. It's going to be a fun matchup, and I'm looking forward to it. But very similar to how I picked the Ravens-Chiefs game, just because I want to see the Ravens win. This matchup, I want to see the Lions win, so I'm going to pick the Lions. Now, is it ever a good idea to pick on what you want? Absolutely not. But these games are too close to call. Like, when you get down to the Final Four of any sport, right? Like, of any type of sport, these teams, whether or not the talent matches up on each side, they're there for a reason, right? Like, now in some cases, injuries, different things like that can happen to the better team, and that's how they win. But these teams are still good. So no matter how much talent on the 49ers side outweighs the talent on the Lions side, I think that coaching is going to be the biggest thing here. And so I'm going to roll with a Lions-Ravens Super Bowl. How fun would that be? At that point, I don't know who I would want to win in that Super Bowl, but we'll wait to see if that's actually how it plays off. I would not be surprised if the Chiefs and Niners are the Super Bowl players, teams in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. I also think it would be a cool matchup to see Chiefs-Lions, the first game and the last game of the season. But we're rolling with Ravens-Lions. Let me know who you guys have making it to the Super Bowl in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you're new here, please subscribe. Hit all the links in my description, man, from Twitter to TikTok. I believe I have a Discord link in there as well. My TikTok has been popping off, so if you're here from TikTok, let me know. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great championship Sunday, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace out.